All right, guys. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Sorry, I'm still in that market recap Friday mode. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. It is Monday, March 6th, 2023. I am your host, Carlos Garcia, here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like our videos and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Appreciate you guys, as always, checking in with us. This morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're about 15 seconds ahead of 9 a.m. But, you know, excitement builds and we just want to get back to work. This is what we do. We love this stuff. So back at it. Another week in for us. So ready to rock. Zoom Balloon says good morning. Good morning, Carlos. Good morning, sir. Let's go ahead and get started around the horn. Dow futures up 23 points. NASDAQ up 55 points. A little shy off the highs, excuse me. S&P 500 futures hit as high as 40.63. We're at 40.58 currently. I talked about that on the blog. I also talked about that on Twitter, that 40.60 was the target. That was the support level that we had right around mid-February or so. If you guys want to take a look, I will show you. Good morning, good morning. Let's get it. That's right. If I can find this thing. Here we go. Let's go to media real quick. I think I have it on the blog, a lot easier. We'll just use Twitter for our headlines. But have it here on the blog. This was from yesterday. Oops. 40.60 support. I wrote this yesterday on Friday at 104. 40.60 target. That's where we are currently. We did a futures trade on that. We hit it on Friday. We closed that out. SPY calls for masterclass. If anyone is still holding contracts, well done. Let's get to it. Crude oil futures down 1.41% this morning, 78.54 a barrel. Kind of talking about between that 75 and 80 level. Can't really trade that. Can't do much with that. So unless something breaks up or breaks down, we're really not paying attention much to crude oil. 1933 for small caps. Again, underperforming the NASDAQ and the S&P. Gold futures are up 0.13%. 1857 gasoline futures, $2.71 a gallon. Right in Central Florida, I think regular gas now is right around $2.95 a gallon. Not huge in terms of moves, let's just say, but nice to see below $3. Silver futures down 0.13% at 21.21. Copper futures $4.04 right now, down 0.48%. Euro dollar's up 17 pips, 106.51. Dollar yen is up 135.86, up about 3 pips. Pound dollar is down 32 pips as the pound is weaker. Bitcoin futures 22,470. Again, we still want to get to around 25 and staying above there. Until then, there's nothing really too much to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin. Ethereum futures 1573 currently per on the contract, 0.8%. So that's where we are this morning. The VIX is up 2.27%, testing that 19 handle at 1891. Dollar index is flat, 104.48, down about 3 cents. 39.07 for the 10-year Treasury yield, 3.907. Remember, we were at what, 40.75, 4.07 just as recently as last week. So that's where we are this morning. Couple of things that I want to go over. Zoom Balloon's asking about any important economic dates coming up. I did a video on that on Friday doing the recap of the week and previewing the next week. So if you want to take a look at that. But in terms of economic data, very light. Tomorrow we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at the Senate Banking Committee and then the House Financial Services Committee on Wednesday. So that might be looming above us this week. So again, no need to go crazy this week in terms of risk. We've had really, really great couple of weeks, or a lot of weeks. Hell, great start to 2023. So we don't want to give anything away. So especially when it's light in terms of the economic data. Non-farm payroll is on Friday as well. That's a jobs number. Well, obviously, we'll be ready for that. Okay, so a couple of things I want to go over this morning. Let's go over some headlines on Twitter. Okay, let's see it. Goldman starts Apple stock at a buy, sees over 30% upside potential from here. They are trading this morning. Let's see, Apple stock. It is up 1.75% this morning. The price target is $199 for Goldman Sachs. Also had this from Evercore. Elevated excess pandemic spending and healthy household balance sheets have supported the market's view for a soft landing as possible, would suggest equity upside for the full year, opens up potential for 2023 upside of 4,600. We didn't say that to be that high. That could definitely be possible. What we expect by at least the end of Q2, and that's pretty much saying not much. I would say by April, we expect to get above 4220. That'll be a 20% upside from the lows. That would be considered a new bull market. So again, we're still waiting for that. We're right now at 40.58, 40.60. So again, we're at that support level from February, mid-February, until we broke down. So again, all we did was recheck that. We're just chopping around. A great trading environment, horrible investing environment, because you're basically at the same levels you were last May. So if you bought the S&P in May of last year and didn't do anything, you're basically at break even. So not exactly the best investing environment, at least in terms of the broad market. Sure, Nvidia has gone up, Tesla's gone up. Yes, there's individual names with some opportunities, but in terms of the market in general, there isn't many in terms of investing opportunities. Let's see here. AMD is my stock of the day that I'll be watching. We posted on Instagram. Keeping an eye on AMD. If we break above 80, I think we're above 80 right now, with some call volume targeting the 85 to 85.54 level of resistance. Check this out. You can see it right here. That's my target for resistance. So if we break above 82, that's above the 20-day daily moving average, and we know that's our momentum indicator. If we break above that, I'll be targeting 85 to around $86 calls. It depends on the volume, obviously, but again, let's see if we can get a nice little boom. We should be above 82. Oh, we're about 8 cents away from 82 currently. We were above it this morning. There is also a gap to fill, so just keep that in mind, right around 75.25. So again, if we break below the 200, which is 78.45, again, we want to make sure there's any downside risk here. We may just play the put. So again, I like AMD here. AMD usually has some strong volume, so just give me a move. That's all I say. Give me a move, give me an opportunity. That's what I'll be watching. So that's something on my radar this morning. Put your alerts if you like. 75.25, that's the gap fill. 78.45 for continued downside. 82 break would give us continuous upside. 85 being that resistance. 85.54. And if we break above it, then we do. $100 would be probably next on the daily. But we'll keep an eye on that as we go. So AMD being the chart of the day. S&P 500 could rally to 4150 if dollar and rates continue to fall. This is Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson, who has been a bear last year and got it all right. So interesting, he's saying that we're going to go a little higher. Quote, we remain in the camp that good growth is good for stocks. Citibank, U.S. Economics expects 255,000 payrolls, 0.4% AHE, and Chair Powell to leave all options open but indicate a preference for 25 basis point hikes. That mix would be a net modest positive for equity, so they're bullish. That's Citi. This is from Wells Fargo. Do not trade as if we're in a bear market. This is a quote, because we are not. Wow, I think someone's finally becoming a believer. The recent reset of Fed funds expectations helped create the setup for the bounce from Thursday's intraday SPX low of 39.28. We believe the bounce has room. Again, that's the 200-day DMA, which we talked about last week. If you've been watching us on the morning note, Apple reportedly could have its self-developed 5G modem chip, codenamed Ibiza, made on TSMC's 3nm process to debut in iPhone 16 in 2024. Production could begin in the second half of 2023. So good for Apple. Apple being up on a price target upgrade from Goldman, and obviously some news about developing their own 5G chip. How neat. So that's where we are this morning in terms of headlines. Would we want to chase Apple is the question. Let's go ahead and take a look here. All right, so Apple on the 1 hour chart, I had an alert above 152.61. So that will break, at least right now. In terms of that, where does that get us? There's a gap to fill at 153.45. So I'm going to place that alert there. If that gap fill breaks, then we could talk about maybe targeting 157. I don't love this setup. If I had that gap to fill at 157, I'd feel a little better for it. But we could be hitting some resistance, at least short term. And I don't want our premiums to get hit right around that 155 area. If we do see that break of 153.46, maybe some continued room, maybe 154, 153.80s or so, then we could possibly play that 157 target. It'd probably be a quick one. So let's see if we get some momentum. How about this on Apple? Oh, a little bit of inverse head and shoulders, huh? Maybe Goldman knows a little something, right, about technicals, obviously. So again, you have an inverse head and shoulders here on Apple. I'd expect a little more upside room on Apple. So let's keep that on our watch list this morning and see if we can maybe get a trade off it. In terms of S&P 500 futures, let's go and break a look at the daily. And again, I put the arrows here to show that that's the support that we had back in mid-February until we broke down on the 21st. We just rechecked that. We're rejecting the 20-day moving average. If we break above that, then our momentum is to the upside. Apple being an inverse head and shoulders, that would definitely be a help for S&P since it's the largest holding of the S&P 500 in terms of weight. So 4100 could definitely be in focus this week. 4095, 4100. The only thing is that we have Powell on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'm not looking to do too much risk, upside or downside. Anything could happen. If I trade AMD today, more than likely it'll be for today, and I want to get out of that today and see if I can catch that. But in terms of that, 40.95 is what we're looking for as a target for the week. If not, yeah, probably for the week, 40.95 to 4100. That'll probably get us to, just kind of chop around here for a little bit. Maybe retest this support around 40.58. But again, the 20-day, let's see if we close above that and settle and see if we can get some continued upside if the dollar complies. Let's see the dollar down about 0.07%. And you could see on the 2-year daily chart on the dollar, we did hit some resistance here right around 104, 105.64, right a smidge below the 100. If we can break the 20-day below on the dollar, I'm pretty sure we'll be the 20-day above on S&P 500 futures. So interesting. Let's see who crosses who first, but the S&P is closer. So maybe the dollar continues to go down. Again, we see that correlation pretty tightly so far. Let's answer some questions. Hi, Carlos. Could you do a bit of TA, technical analysis, on the ticker path? Thank you. No problem. Let's go and take a look at it. Let me remove this to the hourly chart here on the dollar. We'll bring up path. I don't know what path is. I want to say it's path mark. Oh, up UI path. Never heard of that name. Keep it on the daily so we can see if we have any kind of edge here. Well, here's the deal on UiPath. It is up this morning. It is above the 20. We've talked about how 20 is the 20-day moving average is an upward indicator. If you really want to see if you have some more upside, you need to break 18.28. So again, that's about $2 from where we are currently. That's a pretty big move to the upside. If we get there, it's what, another 15-14% or so, maybe. I don't know math like that, but again, a good little bit of room higher. Now, again, you don't have to be the first one to catch the knife or the first one to buy the dip. But again, let's see if the market continues higher. If we get above 18.25, then you could target right around 22.14, use a trailing stop, whatever you like. But I don't think they have much options volume, to be honest. So you're probably just trading the stock. AXP to the upside, gap fills. Let's see it. I believe they had, what was it, their earnings gap? Is that what it was? Let's go ahead and see the daily. Did they have an earnings gap? Oh, you have a gap to fill to the downside, 158.26. I have an alert below 170 for that break, and then we could fill that gap. In terms of upside room, you need to get above 182.15, and then 190s to around 195 would be the next target on AXP. But there is a gap to fill here. That's from the earnings report. So that always looms. Remember, NVIDIA got pretty darn close on that gap fill that we called. Let me make sure if did we get to that gap fill? No, we didn't. We didn't get close. Sorry. I believe that was AMD. Excuse me. So 223.18 on NVIDIA. Again, we're getting a nice bounce. 238.80 currently. There was some Huawei headlines with NVIDIA. If you wanted to play short or anything, I'm really looking at possibly 211 if that's the case. Let me see here. Yeah. Let me see the daily, because now I don't have the gap. There you go. 211.05 is the gap. If we break below 222.92, then I would want to play puts because that's below the 20 on NVIDIA. And we played puts just last week, so we're not against trading to the short side. It's kind of a pain in the ass since the premiums kind of run pretty slow on those. So good morning, Carlos, says William. Thank you. Good morning to yourself as well. Let's go ahead and take a look here. This morning on QQQ, we played Qs last week with the team. If they are holding, they are in the money, so that's awesome. You do have a gap to fill, upside gap. here at, let's say right around 303. So again, not a lot of edge for us to trade it again. Apple is up, so that's a good sign. So that's going to help Q's a little bit. I expect that gap to fill, but we already traded it, so it's not really a point of really looking at it. If we break above, then we'll keep an eye. I'll place an alert above that gap fill and see if we can continue. Maybe we'll take a look at possibly the 307s or so, or 305s if we can possibly play it. But I doubt it, to be honest. Let's go ahead and take a look at IWM, which is the small caps. Let's take a look at it. We have a gap to fill here at 193.17. Not the best. I mean, I guess you can play that gap fill, but you're pretty close to where you are. IWM runs pretty slow, so I'd skip that. So really the name I'm looking at today is really AMD. Apple doesn't give me much. NVIDIA doesn't give me much. Let's see Meta. Meta, I have an alert above 190.07. If that does break, I'll take a look at the daily. And we could possibly target the 200 level. So I like Meta. It's not terrible, but I think AMD is probably the setup of the day, in my opinion. So again, no need to rush into anything. No need to jump into anything. We'll see as we go. Again, we have a lot of landmines this week. We have the Powell speaking in Congress for 2 days. Senate first, then the House, and then we have the jobs number, non-farm payroll report on Friday. So no need to go crazy, obviously. And next week gets really interesting because we'll start getting some CPI figures. We'll start getting some inflation numbers. And then, of course, FOMC. So, just because we're doing great now doesn't mean the market can't take it away from us. So that's our jobs as traders to manage risk for ourselves. Understand that. Sometimes, you may get the, not the best hand in poker. You just got to fold it and move on and live to see another hand. No need to bet. No need to do anything more than that. So we'll see where we get moving forward. I like the dollar right now. I'm going to see if we can target right around 104.10. If 104.10 does happen on the dollar, I expect us to really start testing that 4,100 level. It's only 40 handles from where we are. So again, if the dollar falls, then we're going to expect more upside room on equities to right around 4,100. I think that'll probably be your resistance until Powell speaks. That's really the best I could say here. And we'll just kind of trade around that and see if we get any kind of moves that we could trade. But as of right now, markets are pretty quiet. I mean, other than Apple really pushing the NASDAQ futures with that upgrade from Goldman. And again, we talked about that already. So AMD, let's go ahead and see. How would you trade the dollar? You could trade UUP, which is the ETF for the dollar, but they don't have a lot of options. So you're better off just playing the correlations. So again, I always keep my eye on the dollar to keep my eye on equities. I always keep my eye on yields so I can keep an eye on tech, because yields go down, it actually helps tech. So to trade yields themselves, you can trade TLT. I've traded TLT before, but UUP or DXY or anything like that, I don't trade it. That's just something that I watch for macro. So I would just kind of keep that that focus that the dollar is just giving you hints. That's it. It's just a hint giver because sometimes the dollar has gone up and equities have gone up. So, and sometimes the dollar has been down and equities have gone down. So think of it as just a hint than anything else. It's just an indicator. That's all. That's really it. I would not trade UUP. But thank you for the question. I appreciate you guys as always joining me this morning. We'll go ahead and leave it there. Discord guys, I will check you. I'll catch you guys in a couple of minutes, and let's make it a great trading day. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Have a great rest of your morning, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.